York, big city of dreams.
I'm coming straight out.
New York, big city of dreams.
NYC.
And we work hard for what we're doing right now. We deserve everything, and we got 10 games to keep pushing and to solidify what we want.
Peter Bond.
What's going on? It's Jailus from Nick of Time Show here, giving you that Knicks talk just in the nick of time. Sorry for the delay, technical difficulties. It happens sometimes. But listen, the Knicks, we lost. The winning streak is over. We lost to the Phoenix Suns. But it's all good, man. It's all good. It was a hard-fought game. It's one of those. I hate to say it's a moral victory, but it is, man. It is. It is a moral victory. The Knicks actually, we fought, we competed this whole game, and we're gonna talk about it, man. All right, we're gonna talk about it. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of it, let me introduce my guy from the podcast across the street, who just dropped a podcast today. My man, Alex Trateros from Knicks, Jets, etc. What's going on, man?
What's going on, Jay Ellis? Doing okay. I mean, the Knicks didn't win yesterday, but hey, I know you said it in the beginning. No, we don't really like to get through moral victories, but because this is, a developmental season, a rebuilding season, we could take some moral victories here and there, especially when we play the Phoenix Suns. Number 2 team in the West, number 2 team overall in the NBA. When you play that well against this type of team, and they kept it close. You could take the moral victory with this one for sure.
Yeah, you definitely take the moral victory with this one, man. This team, I said it from the beginning, man. There's a reason why I tweeted on the 14th of April. If you follow us on Nick of Time Twitter account, there's a reason why I said that, I really want a 9-game winning streak before we watch the Phoenix hit the Phoenix Suns, because the Phoenix Suns is no joke. No joke. Number 3 in net rating in the entire NBA for a reason. Man, I know people were like, well, they lost to the Nets yesterday. It's easy work. I'm like, I mean, it's the Nets. The Nets are the Nets, right? So you got to take that with a grain of salt. But at the end of the day, man, we competed. We didn't make that many mistakes. We did make some mistakes. We didn't make that many mistakes. And we were in this game. And to me, when I'm watching this game, it shows the growth, man. This growth from within, from many different players. And excuse me if I'm talking funny. I just came from the dentist today. My mouth is a little funny, all right? So if I sound like Elmer Fudd, if I sound like Elmer Fudd, it's because my mouth is still a little bit numb, all right? But, salute to the chat, salute to these Knicks games. First of all, shout out to everybody who found the show on the chat, man. Had to switch it up, technical difficulties. Shout out to D Nice, shout out to Rick V, shout out to Fritz, shout out to everybody else who's rocking with the KOT show. If you're new, hit that hashtag new. We just getting started. The stream just started. New link, new view, new vibe, all right? We're going to talk about this Suns game. We're going to break it down, man. And actually, there's some nice things I really want to point out that happened in this game. And maybe some people might have overlooked, Some people might have overlooked, but it shows that the growth and development of this team. All right? But first, let me just start off by saying I've been bigging up Derrick Rose a lot lately. And yesterday, he kind of carried us. He carried us a lot. Derrick Rose yesterday with 22 points, 6 rebounds, 6 of 6, 55% from the field. He's in playoff Derrick Rose mode right now. Team high, 22 points from the field. And this is a Derrick Rose that we haven't seen since the Timberwolves days, man. We haven't really seen it since the Timberwolves days, really. Haven't really scratched the surface. And the Timberwolves days is the first time Derrick Rose reunited with Tom Thibodeau. And for me, this game, what I saw from it is he just carved up that Phoenix offense. You know what I mean? And the Phoenix offense is one of the best in the league. They doubled him all night. He made the correct pass the entire night. And what made more impressive is, like, there were angles from these passes that I didn't even know could be found. Like there was a particular pass where he was in the corner in the 3-point line, doubled, happens to find Taj Gibson cutting to the hole for an easy deuce. And those are the type of plays that you like from Derrick Rose that, you know, I'm not sure other guards on this team can make as of yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the way Rose was playing last night, he was kicking on all cylinders, which would explain why Tibbs went with him for 33 minutes yesterday. I mean,
Yeah.
we've progressively been seeing Elfrid Payton get less and less minutes. Although Elfrid Payton did play very efficient yesterday, he went 3 for 4 from the field. You know, had your 3 assists, was a +6 in a loss. So can't really, you know, slander Elf today. He did what he had to do, and like we said last time on the show, if you can get 15 to 20 minutes out of Elf and good minutes out of him, you're in a good spot. Derrick Rose just had it going today, though. You know, 10 from 18 from the field, had 22 points. He had 6 assists. He had 6 rebounds.
Yeah.
He was doing it all yesterday. He was looking like prime Derrick Rose. I'll wean that back. He's a new age Derrick Rose because the old Derrick Rose would just be high flying, slamming on everybody. He's really matured his game after all the injuries and is playing as a more savvy point guard, you know, and just what we see, you know, on against the team yesterday, the Phoenix Suns, right? We see what Chris Paul as a savvy point guard is doing for them. When Derrick Rose is kicking on all cylinders for us, he's doing something similar, right? Because Chris Paul just takes it to another level. But I think within the second quarter, right? I think he had like 8 points, 5 assists, 4 or 5 assists, somewhere around there, and he was just doing it, man. He was finding everybody. He found Obi Toppin. He was finding Taj. He was just finding everybody in rhythm, which was what you need out of your point guard. And it really shows why we need a point guard or just a facilitator in general. I know we're getting to that area of just positionless basketball. We just need a facilitator in general who can do those same things that Derrick Rose was doing yesterday.
Yeah, it's funny, too. Like, when he was getting trapped, I found it funny that when he was getting trapped, he kept finding Taj Gibson. In my mind, I'm just thinking, man, that's just years of playing together where they just know where they're going to be at all times. It's like, Taj is like, oh, Derrick is trapped. I'm going to go here. He's going to find me. Easy 2 points. And this is like, look, it's just like old times again. Just like old times again, right? But even on some other plays, the Obi Toppin pass, the bullet Obi Toppin pass full court for the easy deuce was really impressive to me. We only had four fast break points in this game. We got blown out on the fast break. The fast breaks weren't even close. 16-4 on the fast breaks in Phoenix's favor. But that was a nice one. One of those nice passes he set up, and just passes to the corner and just the tone when we needed a bucket, not just the passing, but when we needed a bucket. He was able to get into the tooth of the defense and just finish with layup after layup, contested layups, tough layups, floaters. Man, the evolution of his game, the new improved Derrick Rose, it doesn't have to dunk everybody. It's just man, it's going to another level. And I still remember because I've been doing the KOT show for a while with my guys, and we always talked about, you know, when he was with the Knicks in the first stint, Alex. It was all about athleticism. It was all about trying to finish through people. The floaters and all that stuff was not happening on the Knicks. The first version of Derrick Rose when he was with the Knicks. So that seemed to have come back a little bit later. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, he just can't. He was coming off an injury. He still wanted to be MVP Derrick Rose. You know, he still had that vigor in him. He got traded from Chicago, where, you know, his hometown. He wanted to be there still. He also wanted to show the league that, hey, still respect me. I'm still Derrick Rose. Okay, I am one of the youngest guys to win the MVP here. Right. So when he came to New York, it was partly for himself, right?
Yeah.
During that first stint, and then at the same time, just watching him that year, like he still had numbers. I mean, he was averaging 18 points. I think he had somewhere between 4 or 5 assists too. He still had the numbers, but they were empty because it wasn't translating into a lot of wins, right? So when you watch Derrick Rose, I just remember watching those games and just thinking, hey, he had 18 points. Wait, how did he get 18 points?
Exactly.
It didn't feel like he had 18 points, but hey, he did it.
Yeah, you averaged 18 points. What's the first time, man? And it just makes me think. All right, the Knicks. It was recently come out that the Knicks are 96% likely to make the playoffs. Right? What's up? 96% likely. I'm feeling those numbers. Seeing this version of Derrick Rose, how he's in playoff mode, he's gonna be very important during this playoff run, man. He's gonna be a key cog, So it's nice to see him step up at this point. I know it's gonna carry on during the postseason, and we're gonna need him, to motivate these young cats like he's been doing, and just kind of keep everybody in line, because he's the one on his team, him and Taj, really, like, who's been there. You know what I mean? Who else has really been there, really? You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like him, Taj, Burks. But, like, the main cogs, Randall's going to be Randall's first time, you know?
Yeah.
A bunch of rookies. It might be a lot of Derrick Rose in the playoffs.
I'm expecting a lot of Derrick Rose in the playoffs, and that's, you know, we're starting to see Tibbs get down to that 9-man rotation, right? Maybe it's because Alec Burks is out and he doesn't really trust Frank, Knox, and anyone else to play that many substantial minutes, because he wants to keep these games close and he wants to win, because he knows it's not a lock for the 4th seed, right? For the 4th spot in the playoffs right now. So he's trying to win as many games as possible to lock that up. I think we still need Burks. I think we're still going to see a 10-man rotation once he gets back. And, you know, I think we're seeing the impact of not having Burks here too, because Derrick Rose, even though he played 33 minutes last night, you started to see that wall coming at the end of the third, going into the 4th quarter, where he was just starting to force shots like Julius Randle, where this Knicks team starts to do that late in games, where you can see they're starting to get gassed. It's getting into crunch time. They're trying to get their buckets, and it goes from ball movement, which works really well for them, to going into isolation. And Derrick Rose was doing that at the end. He was chucking up some shots, and, you know, he had that poor pass at the end of the game trying to get to Julius Randle from the inbounds.
Yeah.
And then it was just a turnover and gave Phoenix the win. But we're gonna need Burks back to run a little bit of point, because it's gonna be 25 to 27 minutes that we're gonna need from Derrick Rose.
Yeah.
Tibbs is gonna have to figure out how to maintain those minutes so that way Derrick Rose can close for us and be super effective, rather than get to that, just use all of his energy and then just start to fade away once the 3rd and 4th quarter comes around.
Yeah, you know, and to his point, I'm not like, I gotta say this too. Look, Rose faded, but not really in my eyes. He hit some clutch shots in that 4th quarter. He had a couple of clutch shots in the 4th quarter. I mean, he did have the turnover, and so did Reggie Bullock, who he went back to 4th quarter. Bullock, man, with the turnovers in the last minutes. But Derrick Rose was he was one of the few people who was actually scoring in that 4th quarter for us. But I do understand what you mean with having another closer like Alec Burks at the end, because you know, Reggie Bullock kind of ran out of gas a little bit as well. And you know what? Let me get to Reggie Bullock next, right? Because Reggie Bullock is an interesting guy, because a lot of Knicks fans wanted him out, including me, during the beginning of the season. Once it got to the halfway mark of the season, he started to show out a little bit more. Listen, at this point of the season, he is tied for third in the entire NBA for 3-pointers made in April. That's insane.
That's bonkers.
So, you know who's in front of him? You know who's in front? Steph Curry, Bogdanovich, and he's tied with Duncan Robinson. And we know we're talking about, we need these Duncan Robinsons, we need these 3-point snipers. We have one right now, man. He's going back to Detroit days where he was averaging like 44% from 3. I think he was like 2nd in field goal percentage. He's getting back to that, and it's probably because the injuries is starting to really subside, and he's starting to get into the rhythm. Now, the beginning of this game, Bullock, I felt like when you talk about shooters, right? What is valuable when it comes to 3-point shooters? It's not just stationary shooters, right? It's movement shooters. To me, when I saw Bullock play yesterday, to me, this was the most movement I've seen Reggie actually pull off. Like I haven't really seen him run his like little curl plays, little routes, running at full speed like he did yesterday. And that's what the Duncan Robinsons of the world do. That's what these top shooters of the world does. And I don't know if they were working on that, you know, in practice, but it seems like to me it looked like it did. And I think that's exactly why he got to the fast start. Cause I felt like he was in perpetual motion, whether it was from three, whether it was finding whether they were finding him in the lane. And I felt like it was a huge difference between the first and second half. And also, there was a key moment where he got he got a foul in that first quarter when he was going off. He scored 12 points in the first quarter. He got a foul. He fouled Booker, but was it a foul? Really? You know,
no. I'm just gonna come out and say no, and that really changed the entire game because look, I know Reggie isn't a lockdown defender, and Devin Booker's going to get his points. There's no one that's going to stop Devin Booker and really limit him to getting under 20 points. If you can maintain to Devin Booker between 28 to 33 points, which he did yesterday, 33 points, you're in that ball game. It's everyone else that you have to calm down. Right. So I think that changed the entire game because you saw Reggie couldn't get into the entire flow of the game once he got 2 fouls. Came out with like 3 minutes left in the first quarter, and then he's just racking up all these fouls. And he even got he was close to fouling out, and so that changed the entire dynamic of the game. And once he got that 5th foul, you know, he wasn't playing the defense. He wasn't being as tenacious. You know, he had a steal. He was just deflecting. He was in everybody's face. That's the one thing, because I was with you, JLS. I started off this season hounding Reggie Bullock because he wasn't shooting. I didn't see where the defense was. But you know what? Probably because he didn't have enough of an off season. He's coming back from injury, as you said, from last season. What was it, neck or back, somewhere around there. And now we're starting to see him post All-Star. And the full form that we're supposed to be getting from him. And it's just been awesome. You know, from these 10 games, he's been shooting 42, close to, it's pretty much 43% from 3. And he's shooting damn near 50% from the field.
Yeah, he's shooting 41% this season in general.
Yeah, that's where you want him, and he's legit become our 3-and-D guy. So I'm with you that he's turned around. This is this type of stuff that he was doing, and to add on, yeah, you see him coming from doing the curls from the corner. Threes, whether getting his 2, whether it's going in for a mid-range, whether it's getting, you know, to the top of the key, dead on. He had some dead on 3-point shots yesterday, which he usually doesn't do. He usually stays around from like above the break or going into the corner. And he was just full form Reggie Bullock yesterday, and we're gonna need him going into the playoffs. But definitely the foul. Getting back to the foul call, I didn't think that was a foul. I think they were really, the refs have just been very interesting this season. I'm just being polite about it. I'm being very polite about it because I can go on it, but I didn't think that was second foul call and the first was not really a foul call. Yeah, and it's also like they due to the school of freaking
Chris Paul drawing fouls and complaining, working the refs, man. That definitely happened as well. But to your point, man, like I need Reggie to keep that same energy. I need him to run as hard as he did yesterday every game, because I feel like that's going to be the missing piece. Every successful NBA team who has a 3-point sniper doesn't just have a guy who can sit in a pocket and shoot threes, but he moves and he redirects and he gets open shots and he runs routes hard. That's why I even like Dotson. When I was always screaming free Dot all the time, I really loved Dotson just because I just loved how hard he ran those 3-point routes. And even though, you know, that's what we need from Reggie. That's what we need moving forward. Now, as far as a tactical standpoint goes for me, I know looking at Devin Booker's game, Devin Booker draws fouls. That's what he does. He's one of the top foul drawers in the NBA. I know I know Tom. I feel like I might have challenged it, man. That foul that got him out, that second foul in the first quarter, I know we were up 20. I might have challenged that foul, knowing who Booker is and how often he draws fouls. Even though we were up so much, I think I would have challenged it, man, because at that point, the momentum that Reggie had and the amount of defense that is required to play Booker for the whole 48 minutes, I felt like dang, this might change the complexion of the game. And damn it if I wasn't right, because he got that third foul really quickly in the third quarter, and then in the second quarter, and the third quarter, he was just out of the flow completely, you know?
Yeah, and that's where, this game wasn't lost because of foul calls. Like we could have easily won this game down the stretch. We just had some miscommunication, missed plays, and we had two inbound passes that went out of bounds. Bullock to RJ, and then you had D Rose to Julius Randle, and then we had a faulty possession when we couldn't get a shot up, and it's just sometimes how the cookie crumbles. And at the same time, you have Chris Paul doing Chris Paul things. He had three really good shots to end the game, but definitely, Reggie Bullock was out of rhythm. He didn't have that same defensive intensity after he picked up his third foul, as you mentioned, in the second quarter. He was missing part. He would miss part of the game because he got another one in the first quarter, and then once he got the fifth foul in the fourth, you don't want him to foul out because
you don't want to foul out, right?
He was just doing work yesterday. I mean, he was legit the three-point shooter that we needed and that we've been asking from him this season. He had 17 points. He went 4 from 8 from 3. He went 6 from 11 from the field.
Right.
So
and that's when you miss Burks. That's when you miss Alec Burks. This is when you mix Alec Burks, a guy who can hit that clutch three, because also he missed some really good open shots last night. But Alec Burks is kind of like a microwave in that regard, y'all. I call him Alex Buckets too. Yeah, Alex Buckets, we really would love them yesterday, for real. And, salute to the chat. I have a lot more to say about this game, a lot more nice things I want to point out. But I see some people who's in the chat, man. They looking to call in, so I'm gonna bring you guys in, right? But before I bring you in, I'm gonna just salute to the chat real quick. Shout out to the people in the chat. Shout out to Jason Jameson, Ayo Pow, Junior Corona, who's here early. Shout out to Fritz, who's always holding down. Shout out to Jay Boogie, I saw in the chat. Shout out to Ip Nucky Fresh is in the building. Shout out to Tom Don, and everybody else is rocking the KOT show, all right? Oh yeah, shout out, I see you, Illa. Shout out to Illa over here too, and Ricardo Custer, all right? Shout out to you guys. You guys over here talking about a Knicks loss. That don't happen. People, when it's popping, when you winning, everybody's in the chat. Y'all here for the Knicks loss, watching us break it down, and we're going to do you justice, all right? We're going to give you some nice breakdowns. We're going to interact with the people, man, and have some fun, man. So, I see you, caller Kareem Grant. Kareem Grant. I see you I see you, Kareem. Yeah, so I just grabbed Kareem. Hit that KOT live button, Kareem, a couple of times. And make sure you turn down the volume in the background.
Absolutely.
And you should be able to talk. All right. Because Kareem. Okay, where did Kareem go? All right, Kareem. Kareem is not. I'm not exactly sure what happens to Kareem, but Kareem, come back. I think you disconnected by accident. That is fine. But while we're waiting, Kareem, I see Jay Boogie. The preacher is in the chat. Jay Boogie was actually at the game. I actually saw him. So, all right, let me bring Jay Boogie in here real quick. Okay, Jay Boogie, you in the chat right now. All you got to do is hit that KOT live button a couple of times. And you're good to go. You should be able to hear me clearly. All right. Can you hear me, Jay Boogie? Yo, what's going on, Jay Boogie? You hear me? Jay Boogie, you hear us?
Hello?
Yeah. Yo, what's going on, Jay Boogie? You live?
Salute. How you doing, my kid? Salute.
Yeah. Yo, Jay Boogie, hit the KOT live. You see where it says KOT live? Just hit that a couple of times, and you'll be able to hear us better. All right. All right. While we're waiting on Jay Boogie, we're going to salute to everybody in the chat. Yo, shout out to Andrew. I see you in the chat. Shout out to Stanley Mann. Shout out to Ernest Jeter as well. And Kerry Cox. Yo, Alex is in the chat. I see Alex in the chat rocking with the Knicks Nation in the chat room, man.
That's right. Hey, Jay, I think Fritz is telling you that you're not live in the Discord, are you?
I'm not live in the Discord.
Yeah.
I should be live. It says I'm live though.
Okay.
I don't think you're live in Discord. Okay, let's hold on. J Boogie, you hear me? You know what? I'm gonna try Kareem one more time. Hold on a second. Sorry, guys. It's gonna be one of these nights.
It happens. It happens.
It's one of these nights. Let's try this one more time. All right, Kareem, I just dropped you in the chat. What's going on, Kareem?
Hey.
What's good, sir?
Hey, man. Finally.
Yeah, not sure what happened there, but it seemed like it's working right now. Sorry, J Boogie.
Good.
Come back, J Boogie, when you can. Not sure what happened there.
Well, about the game last night, it was some positives that I saw. For one, let's talk about that the Hawks lost and
Exactly.
and Miami lost, so it's kind of a reset for us.
Exactly. Good time, and the Hawks lost to the Pistons of all people as well.
I know, right? That's crazy, but I'll take it. That's all right. We got Chicago, so that's a gimme game for us. So hopefully, we pull ourselves together after last night. But I mean, we went against the number 2 team in the league, and
Absolutely.
so we only lost by 8 points. You know what I mean? So that's not a bad thing at all. That just showed that we improved a lot. And I mean, all goes back to we're not supposed to be here in the first place.
Exactly.
So I say that we overachieved, and like I said, we still have some money on the side to play with. So we doing good. I mean, we have our little kinks last night, but I can't talk about Randall because he's entitled to have his bad game after
Yeah.
or 30 plus points he would have in every other game. So I can't even knock him on that. But it's the first game, and hopefully in the Knicks versus Phoenix Part 2, we come back and saying get on takes of their own medicine. And hopefully Burke be back. I don't know what's the status on him, but yeah, I think you said that Burke is a microwave, but I think all of them are microwave really, because it's always hard in the first quarter, and then the third quarter they shut down. I don't know what it is, but it's like a curse thing. But I mean, they all streaky shooters. Let's be real. But like I said, I commend them for playing hard last night. They really showed that they in it to win it.
Absolutely.
I commend them.
Absolutely.
So that's why I think that they overachieved, and that I think they improved a lot.
I agree with you.
100%.
Yeah, man. Yo, thanks for calling, man. Thanks for calling. Thanks for.
All right, brothers, take it easy.
Yeah, man. Take it easy.
Have a good one.
Finally got Kareem in here, man. Finally got Kareem in there. Now we're gonna be cooking with grease. We're cooking with grease now. But to his point, man. Listen.
You're cooking with gas.
Yeah. We're cooking with gas, grease, everything. All that all together. To his point, man. Listen. Julius Randle had an off night. He had an off night. He still hit a couple of important buckets, but overall he had an off night. That mid-range game that was a staple of his this whole season, it was a little bit off. And you know what? A lot of times when he was doubled, he made the right play most of the time. No, he made the right play all the time, pretty much. But I do feel like, one-on-one coverage, it was Julius Randle versus Cam. Cam is a pretty good individual defender, right? But even so, I still feel like Julius Randle was still able to use his size, bump him off his spot, be able to pull up for some nice, clean looks from the mid-range, and he just missed them. He just missed them.
Tonight, yesterday was just one of those nights for Julius Randle. I mean, as the caller said, and it was a really good call. You know, Julius Randle's going to have off nights. Your best players are going to have off nights, and unfortunately, both of our top two players had off nights, and
we were still
Julius Randle and RJ Barrett. I think they had somewhere between 32 to 35 points in total between both of them.
Yeah.
And that's not going to be the same. It's not going to happen most nights, especially from Julius. And we know he can bounce back. We've seen him bounce back before. We've seen him after the All-Star game that he can bounce back. So unfortunately, it came at the wrong time. We're heating up. But forget the end of a 9-game win streak, we went 9 out of 10. We won 9 games out of 10 these last 10 games, and we went toe-to-toe with, like I said at the beginning, second best team in the West, second best team in the NBA. We lost by 8 points, but we were right there up until the end. So
yeah,
we could have gone either way. And then we'll see what happens the next time while we're out in Phoenix during that West Coast trip. You know?
Yeah, man, the difference was really the closer, man. They had Chris Paul closing for us. And you know what? Julius Randle, he's not a closer as of yet. He's had closer moments.
Yeah.
He's had closer moments, but he's growing into that role. Even yesterday, like, he's hit some big shots for us, you know what I mean? But sometimes it's tough to be a closer from the power forward position. Sometimes, you know? But but he's still managed to do that a lot of the times. Closing from the power forward position, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Julius isn't, he goes back to that ISO game, which I talked about. Is I just don't. It doesn't work towards the end. You got to keep the ball movement going. And I know when it comes down to the last shot, you'd rather have someone just ISO and make sure they can get a shot off than try to swing the ball around and find somebody. I totally get that. But throughout most of the fourth quarter, they should be working the ball around, trying to get it. And we saw at the beginning of the fourth quarter, all right, Julius, you go. All right, D Rose, you go. All right, RJ, you go. And we can't keep doing that. That's not going to work in the playoffs. But the thing that also needs to be mentioned yesterday, though, is that Julius was getting double teamed and wasn't looking comfortable when he was getting double teamed yesterday. And through the 9 games that we won, he wasn't really getting double teamed like that, where it was throughout the entire game, right? You'd see double team come over and he'd pass it out. No, they were as soon as he touched the ball, he was getting double teamed instantly. Yeah, most of the game, and he's going to have to learn to adjust to that. And I think it's a good learning, it's a good teachable moment. We talked about this on KFT yesterday. This is a good teachable moment for this team because in the playoffs, it's going to slow down. Julius is going to see a lot more double teams than he has for most of the season. And he's going to have to learn how to adjust to it and figure out how to get everyone else involved. And everyone else has to learn how to get involved. Because
yes,
you're not going to be able to rely on that type of style of game where it's, all right, Julius, you can carry us all the way. Everyone's got to learn how to play team basketball. That's just who we are at this moment.
Yeah, and to expound on that point, too, about the double teams, like, there's 2 parts of executing your offense when you're being double teamed, right? First, it's the guy who's being double teamed has to make the right pass and the right read. Second, the teammates around them have to move to the open spots and be able to move without the ball, create passing angles so the guy can, deliver the pass at certain points. And they've done that in spots yesterday. I feel like Derrick Rose cut into the middle for some easy layups. And I do feel like he found quickly for an open 3 a few times off the double teams as well. But as long as the spacing and the off-ball movement is good, I think we'll be fine in that area. And we just have to work on it, especially when it gets to these teams like the Spurs, because Spurs is another team that's coming up that really double-teamed Julius a lot, and he wasn't able to figure it out. So this game is a nice little precursor to the Spurs game to see if it can look at the tape, adjust, and see what they learn going forward when it comes to playing the Spurs defense. All right, because it's gonna be the second time seeing that type of double teaming scheme.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's only going to help Julius get better from this too as a player. So we're exceeding expectations. The fact that we even have a player that's worth getting double teamed
is amazing in itself. It's amazing in itself.
So he'll learn. He'll watch the tape. Tibbs will break it down with him because that's what Tibbs does. Walked up in a film room, just breaking everything
Right.
down.
No sleep, team sleep, no girl, just the tape. Just the tape. It's like, I don't need to be married. I'm married to the game. I got my video room, and that's all I need. All right. Screw that.
Oh my
Screw
goodness
relationships. It's basketball.
So
Ball is life. All right.
ball is life. That's a fact.
Ball is life. All right. There we go.
But Julius is going to learn from this. That's all I can say out of this, and we'll see how that translates next game and the next big matchup. You know, we played the Bulls this week. Who we got? Who do we have later this week? I know we got the Bulls.
Oh, it's the gauntlet's coming. It's the gauntlet is coming. It's gonna be the Bulls.
I know the gauntlet is coming up really quick. I know we got
Bulls,
the Bulls
Rockets, Memphis, Clippers, Lakers, Spurs.
These next two games,
Must
Rockets,
wins.
Bulls, we should must wins because
must wins.
after that,
Yeah.
it's
Realistically,
gonna
we have 10 games left. I'm hoping we win 5-5. I'm hoping we go 5-5 because I'm looking at the Grizzlies, Rockets, Bulls, Celtics Celtics and Charlotte at the end as the 5 that we need to have. Like we have to win those. Because then we got
Boston game is going to be very interesting.
Yeah,
right now.
because we're gonna be playing for that might be playing for something. So seeding for play-ins that can be a really interesting game at the end of the season. But yeah, and then we have the Clippers and the Lakers. If we could win something that we're not supposed to win, that would be all amazing too. I would like that as well. But you know,
Yeah, I only bring up Boston because right now we're splitting the series 1-1, and if we're tied, you know, say if we're 4-5 and we got a record that, you know, we're gonna be tied at the end of the season, and we're gonna determine who has home court advantage. That's the only reason I'm saying.
Yeah,
that game's gonna be very interesting.
That's a big game. You can avoid that might be, you know, a game that avoids the play-in for us. That's what I'm saying. That's for both of us. That can be a huge game, huge game. That Boston game for real. And even the Charlotte game might be. We'll see. We will see. But I'm hoping we go 5-5, bare minimum. All right.
Yep.
Now salute. I'm gonna try to bring J Boogie back in here once again. Hopefully everything is fixed at this point. All right. All right. Let's try it out. Okay, J Boogie, you are now in the live room. Hit that KOT live. Where you say it's KOT live, hit that a couple of times. You should be able to hear me.
Yeah, I hear you.
And then also, if you want to hear Alex too, hit the join stream or wherever you see Alex face, hit that, and you'll be good to go. All right.
What's going on, Jay Boogie?
Right.
All right. You still there, Jay?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right, cool, man. Everybody already knows you. So what's your comment or your observations today, J Boogie?
Salute. First, let me shout out my man JL. What he what's up? Doing the show, me doing stuff for y'all. Salute.
Oh, you're breaking up a little bit. Breaking up a little bit, Jay, but I can't really hear you right now. Can you hear me, J Boogie? Are you still trying to figure your stuff out? You might have to wait on Mr. Boogs. I know everybody's waiting for the sermon. It's like, J Boogie!
I'm waiting, man. I'm waiting. Come on.
The preacher man.
He was at the game. I want to hear all about it.
Yeah, I want to hear the inside scoop, man. Cause I know he was there with Chuck and them guys. I know he was there with the energy. I know it was wild over there.
Oh my god.
All right. You know what? All right. One more time, J Boogie. I'm gonna try to get Iller in here. She's still having technical difficulties. Fritz, work with J Boogie. Let me know how it's sounding when you with All right. All right. Sorry, sir. Iller. Hey, Illa, you are now in the live room. Hit that KOT live button a few times and hit that just stream. That stream button, you should be good to go, all right? Can you hear me, Illa?
Yeah, 1 sec.
All right, now, yeah, you sound crystal clear, all right?
Crispy. Crispy.
KOT line. All right, I don't know if you can hear me now.
I can hear you perfectly, sir.
We can hear you. We can hear you. What's going on?
All right,
Ellen?
are we on the air?
Yes, we are. Let's go.
All right, man. Sorry, bro. This Discord thing's a little complicated, so I'm like multitasking here. So.
Oh, good, man. Let them know where you from. If they don't know where you from already, let them know where you from.
All right, man. This is Iller from Toronto, Canada. I think everybody knows where I'm from.
Yeah, everybody already knows.
Yeah, man. Yo, so anyways, the reason I called in is because I wanted to talk about Simi. He got signed to a 2-way contract, man. I know not too many people know about him.
All right, that's right. He did get signed to a 2-way contract. The Knicks have been making little quiet moves under the radar between Simi and
Miles Powell.
There you go, Miles
and
Powell.
Jared Harper.
And Jared Harper.
Right. Yeah, so like the thing about Simi is interesting. Like he played on a horrible 2019 Vanderbilt team.
Mm-hmm.
I think they went like 9-23 or something that season, and he's an interesting player. Nothing fancy. He was part of the Canada under-16 national team where they won like a silver medal in 2015.
Okay. Give us the Canada facts.
Oh. He's a Burlington native, man. Yeah. He's not too far from me, man, where he's from. Yeah. He's a big dude, man. He's like 6'10", 240 pounds. He moves his feet, runs the floor. He's pretty physical. I remember in the G League, all his shots were like inside the paint. He won't shoot like threes or mid-range shots. He's good on like offensive like rebound, and he'll do all the little things, like set screens and
right.
Things like that. I just hope Tibbs will like utilize him and see what he has to offer. Not much of a resume, just a guy trying to break in the roster, within the NBA, and I just wanted to get your guys' input on him.
So I mean, well, for me, I already know anybody we get right now on the Knicks from the G League or the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th guy is kind of going to be like a super situational player. And really, I feel like this is more maybe like of a long-term development next year type of move, or even just a move just in case like COVID protocol happens or
right
injury. Like I don't expect him to really even see the floor this year, especially considering this is the end of the year. We're getting to playoff mode. We have it's a 9-man rotation right now. Frank hasn't seen burn. Knox hasn't seen burn. Norvell Pell hardly seen burn except for situational minutes. So I don't really expect him to crack the rotation. But I just feel like it's more like a long-term thing. We have our projects like the Raptors or the other teams where we're just gonna develop these guys, have them work with Kenny Payne, and then over time we'll see where he lands. And again, like you said, the guy's like 240. We need some solid guys to play some bigger guys here. So that could be a thought process as well.
Yeah, definitely. I agree on that. So, like I said, I got a chance to watch him at Westchester with my boy Iggy, the G League legend.
There you go.
Yeah, man. So, I'd like to see him get at least, a few minutes, whether it's like garbage time or whatever, just to get a feel for the, for the floor and stuff like that and see how it pans out for him. And, yeah, man. So that's all I wanted to call in and see, you guys' intake on Simi.
All right, cool. Dale, thanks, man. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for the Canada firsthand info, man.
Yeah, anytime, bro. But listen, Jay Ellis and Alex, man, listen, man, God willing, next year when everything cools off with this pandemic, you guys got to come up here to Toronto, go to a Knicks game. You know what I mean? When they're in town, we'll do it up, man.
Shoot, I'm with it, man.
I'm down, man.
It's a good atmosphere, bro. You guys will love it, man. You guys are more than welcome to come, man. Thanks for having me.
I know, probably. Yo, listen, man, I want to play some ball, Alex. I know Alex plays ball. I
work at the Athlete Institute, so we can play all the ball you want, bro.
Yo, I need to get a pickup game going. That's
it's done. It's done.
I need to get a pickup game going. I haven't actually played ball since COVID started. I need to get a pickup game going. That is my next order of business. I haven't played ball in a year, and I'm fiending.
You and me both, Jay.
Anytime, guys, man. Anytime.
All right, man. Later, Illa.
All right, thanks for having me. Good night, guys. Stay safe.
All right. Yo, salute to Illa, man. Thanks for coming in. Yo, Jay Boogie. Listen, man. If you want to call in, Jay Boogie, do it the old-fashioned way. You know how to do it. Just call, and I'll pick up. All right. Use the Jay Boogie Express line. I will pick up for Jay Boogie. Nobody else. All right. use the Jay Boogie VIP pass.
Oh man. But I guess if we want to talk more about Simi, I got to watch a little bit of Simi. He's your prototypical big. I like his game. I mean, the thing is he just played in Westchester. You know, it's just a different level of competition when you're going from the G League up to the NBA. You gotta work your way in. But I would like to see. I'm with Iller. I'd like to see him get some minutes just because of his size. He's 6'10", 240 pounds. That's a big boy. We can use some big boys on this team.
We don't have a lot of big boys on this team for real. We don't have a lot of those.
Yeah, and he played well. He played well in Westchester. He was averaging close to 15 points. You know, he's getting you 10 rebounds a game. As Iller said, he's good on the offensive glass. And I don't know how the issue is, like, how does that translate? Like, we've seen guys from the G League do well. Like, we've seen Danny Green, right? We've seen Seth Curry come up and perform very well in the G League.
Right.
You know, it just takes time and giving that opportunity. So they gave him the two-way contract, if I remember correctly. So he will get some practice time with the big league if he's here next season. So that'll be his time to shine, showing Tibbs what he can do in practice.
Got it. Okay, I just got word that Jay Boogie says he's going to call back, but he's on the road. All right.
Okay.
All right, so shout out to Jay Boogie. Waiting Jay Boogie's call, all right? I saw somebody else was in the line, but I guess he decided to get off the line. But salute to the chat, man. Salute to everybody who's rocking with us on the KOT show so far. Yo, I have more people to talk about, man. I want to talk about somebody fun. All right?
Who's that?
I want to talk about Quickly.
Okay.
I want to talk about Quickly because Quickly, people keep telling me Quickly can't pass. People keep telling me he's not a point guard and he can't pass and listen, man, I get it, he's a sniper. He made some incredible shots yesterday, right? Like the shot that he made from Broadway, 2 feet, 3 feet behind the 3-point line.
Oh, beautiful,
right? Beautiful, right? He's always gonna have that in his bag. He did that. He did his classic Quickly stuff. He did that. He did his floater. Game was great. But the thing I appreciated about Quickly once again is he is diversifying his game, and if you're not paying attention, you'll miss it. You'll miss it because he had 4 assists yesterday, right?
Mm-hmm.
He had 4 assists. First of all, let me read off his stats real quick. Quickly had 11 points and 4-7 from the field, 4 assists. And the way he got his assists, right? First of all, he's starting to spot the mismatches quicker on breaks. He fed Obi Toppin for a nice little assist on a post up quickly. The alley-oop pass to Derrick Rose in the fourth quarter was beautiful as well, off a pass. And also, he's getting used to being pressed in double teams. It was a play where usually when you see him going into the lane, he's preparing for his floater, you'll see 2 people come at him, and he's kind of confused what to do. What I saw yesterday was he kind of veered off from the double team and forced both people to kind of chase him a little bit and just lobbed it up to Obi for an alley-oop. And it worked beautifully. And it's like, it's not super, super high level point guard stuff, but it's stuff that he wasn't doing even 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think, what was it? Who was it? Someone I was listening to, I forget where. Oh, I was listening to the Bill Simmons podcast, and they had Kyle J. Mann on there, and he's a big Kentucky guy. He watched Quickly, and he's actually not surprised by how fast Quickly has developed his game to the NBA, because when he watched Quickly play at Kentucky, he said the thing that you can tell from Quickly from his 2 seasons there is that he's a quick learner. He can and adapt to the game really quickly. He's a sponge.
Right.
He just learns the game at a fast pace and then practices it and knows how to implement it within a short time span, which is what's so amazing about him, right? And when you start seeing him passing like this, it's encouraging because, hey, we need more guys who can start passing, getting guys open looks and so forth like that. And I think you're referencing that Athletic article that said he's not really a true passer, right, or something along those lines.
Yeah, I'm not even referencing Athletic article. I'm just referencing people. I'm just referencing just people in general who kind of just wrote him off already. I know he's good off ball, but I think people have wrote him off as a guy who can be a lead guard already. Is what I'm saying.
Okay, so I think, he has a very high ceiling, and I said this to you last time. Like, we seen him go struggle even when we had his tiny rookie wall, right? He has those games where he's on and then he's just off, and it doesn't mean he's not going to be a good player. This is just me. We just see the ceiling from what he's going to be.
Right.
I think it's just encouraging to starting to see these type of passes from him. I mean, they're simple reads. The question is, can he do the advanced reads, like what Derrick Rose does, and knowing how to kick it out and swing it around at a fast pace, right? But he's getting there. He's starting to make the progress on doing something like that. I don't know if he's necessarily the point guard of the future. If he is, that's a big win for us. But we know what we need on this team right now, which is good shooting, which he provides. He's quick, and he's quick, right? He's quick. He's making good quick passes too, good touch passes. We've seen him do it before. Things that we need to get more out of him, which he's actually starting to do too, which is just drive to the basket. He's actually going in for layups, which is that's another aspect of his game that we need to see. He's starting to do that. You're starting to see more of the passes from him. He's starting to add more to this game as the season's coming to an end, which is very encouraging. And I can't wait to see what he has when he has a true full off season, a true and full NBA off season, and he puts on a little bit more weight, gets to get more strength, and then see what he adds to his game next season. But you can see that the signs are there that he's improving as a player.
Yeah, he's become a way more less predictable. And like you said, like the first time I saw him kind of actually try to convert a conventional layup where he's going in somebody's chest was probably like a week and a half ago. I saw him do it again yesterday. I even saw him some passes that he created that were like, I forgot who he passed to that was wide open for three. He just missed it. But it might have been Bullock. He also tried. He did. I feel like he could have had 6 assists yesterday easily. And there was a pass he made to RJ that might have been a little off, but it was the right idea. Just in general, he's just been quicker with the reads. In general, he's been quick with the reads. And yesterday was even more important that he was quicker with the reads because those guys were pressing at every second they got on the defensive end. They were doubling. They were forcing you into spots. So you were forced to make quicker decisions. And I was very happy on how quickly, no pun intended, kept reading the situation at a high, like quick rate and just making quick decisions. Man, there's no way to get out of this quick stuff, huh? And consistently made the right play.
Yeah, and I said it last time on your show that he has a limited package, and I still think he does have a limited package. He's just adding on to it. It's not super diverse yet, but it's encouraging, like I said, to start seeing him take it to the lane, starting to get, starting to do more kickouts, driving kicks. That's stuff that he's going to need to do to improve as an NBA player.
Absolutely. I don't know if it's a Derrick Rose effect that's happening because Derrick Rose has been doing it more. or if it's a point of contention within the practice. Because even Elfrid Payton yesterday was doing, like, I've seen Elfrid Payton pick his spots way better yesterday. Like the probably the most I've seen him in a long time. I think I've seen him pick his spots good, like maybe 2 or 3 times this whole season. Yesterday was one of those where he really mixed it up between going through the hole and kicking them out. He found RJ for a corner 3, which is amazing because he really never passes to RJ for the corner. And he uses hesitation well to create a few layups. And even, didn't force things up. Like, even the 4 fast break points we had, I think one of them was when he forced the action and passed it back to Noel for a dunk that led to like a 15-5 lead that caused the Phoenix Suns to call timeout. So he's been playing well. Even in third quarter, Elf, man, when we needed a bucket in the third quarter, I felt like he made the correct play and the correct buckets yesterday. So he didn't score a lot, but it was probably one of the best 15-minute spurts he's had so far.
Absolutely. Like I said earlier, he was very efficient yesterday, and so slander towards him is not warranted. He played a really good game. But I think for Elf, we got to see this more consistently. It's not just one game. Like, he does this all the time where he'll have like 1-2 good games and then 10 bad games, or average to below average games.
Right.
And we need to see him be more consistent. Hopefully it's a step in the right direction for him. And, last night he did what he had to do. Let's see if he can do it again against the Chicago Bulls on Wednesday.
Yeah, Skull 6 Trey says Peyton did a couple of D Rose moves, the Hezzy yesterday. I agree with you, man. I definitely seen that Hezzy work on Ayton like a few times. And D Rose definitely does that Hezzy in traffic a lot. And when you have that quick pull-up floater like D Rose has, that Hezzy can really create space for you in certain situations. So yeah. Elfrid Payton, man. I talk trash a lot. I talk trash about him a lot on the program, but listen, when he plays good, you gotta give him his props.
That's a fact.
And yeah, Obi too, man. Listen.
Obi.
Incremental development. Obi's rebounding. I think he's found like a niche. I think he found his way to affect the game without getting plays called for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's coming back to that transition for him, right? He was the focal point at Dayton. He was, I'm doing a little bit of research on him. He had 28% usage rate. The next player behind him had 20. He was averaging 20 points a game at Dayton. He was getting used a lot, and he's dropped dramatically. Pretty sure it's not even pretty sure it's not even 10. I have to look it back up. But Obi, it's good to see that he's starting to figure out a role. He didn't have that off season. He got injured. It's taking time for him to come together and figure out what his role on this team should be. And as you point out, JLS, it's being a rebounder at this point.
Yeah.
Getting points, let that be secondary right now. What we need from you is to box out, get the boards, prevent the opposing team from getting an offensive rebound, and let's get the possession, because that's how we were losing games. We don't have Mitch, who's our best offensive rebounder and one of our best rebounders on the team in general. So Obi's good. Obi is slowly transitioning his game into being a role player instead of being a focal point like he was at Dayton. And it's good to see that it's starting to come along now. These past couple of games, you're starting to see even good defensive rotations out of him. It's really, this is the type of stuff that gets you even more minutes on the floor if you can keep stringing these type of good games together, and hopefully he can. So far, he's showing in the right direction. And if he could just be a contributor in that way as a role player, you hit on that draft. Not everyone that we get. I know there was a lot of hype that he'd be this offensive ready player. And there was a lot at the beginning of the season that we were anticipating, Julius Randle possibly going, not becoming this offensive juggernaut that we have. Obi was supposed to be the guy that was supposed to slide right in, be the new power forward of the future.
Right.
Things changed. So he's going to have a new role right now as just a role player. And so far, he's coming along nicely with these past couple of games.
Yeah, absolutely. He's turning corner as well. He's finding a little bit of a groove, man. And Kudos to Obi, man. Kudos to Obi, and thank you, Derrick Rose, for finding him on these leakouts, man. Because where would he be without you? I don't even know. I don't even know.
That's for sure. Because when D Rose was out, we saw Obi just go back into, I guess, like a shell and wasn't really performing.
Man,
it was rough.
It was rough. Like he really, I don't know what D Rose talks to him about, but he's the Obi whisperer or something, man. It just seems like his confidence is way higher when he's sharing the floor with D Rose.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Obi is the type of guy that needs to run out in transition, work in the post. Those are like his biggest things. And we don't have anyone who's looking for him in transition other than D Rose. So I could just think of moments where you have Burks just not even getting to Obi on an outlet pass. And Obi's right there at the rim just for an easy bucket, but D Rose is doing that.
Absolutely.
And to follow up, Obi has a 15% usage rate right now. So it's dropped from 29 to 15%. And obviously you get more minutes in the NBA, but that's still a dramatic drop from what he's used to. And he's trying to figure out, with these limited touches that he's getting, what should I do? How do I impact the game? And the one thing that I've always heard on most NBA podcasts is if you want to get more time as a rookie or just a young player,
do a little things.
Playing good It's doing the little things and playing really good defense. And so far he's been playing good defense by grabbing rebounds and doing the right transitions on defense.
Absolutely. All right, we have another caller lined up. And excuse me, I might need to get some water, Alex. I went to the dentist today, so my mouth is really drier than usual.
Oh man.
Yeah, hold on a second. As you drink your water in front of me, thanks, guy. All right, but next.
No problem. Just want to.
Yeah, rub it in. Thanks. You're considerate, aren't you? All right. Next caller. All right, Danny Man Falcon. I dragged you into the chat. You can get ready. Hit that KO2 live button. But you're a pro at this point.
Yeah, I guess I am now.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Alex?
What's going on, man?
What's going on?
What's up, Jay Ellis, man? Always good. I love the show, man. So I'm always here to support.
Appreciate it. Yeah, let them know where you're from and your name if they don't know already.
All right, Chapman from Queens, baby. Queens.
That's what's up. All right. What's your takeaway? What's your point, sir?
All right, a couple questions. One, I wish I had Paul Heyman. I don't know if Paul Heyman. He's always introducing Brock Lesnar, so I want to talk about Brock Aller. I want to know what your thoughts. I want to know what your thoughts are on the way we use the cap this year, or not use of the cap, and I'm happy with our success. It's just, like
Knicks fans always want more.
Yeah, maybe we could add it. Maybe we could get some assets for it. I would like it not to be just there.
Okay, wait.
Maybe. I would have loved to use the little money, some of that money, for an asset or something. I just felt like it's.
You feel like you feel like this money, because for those who might not know what he's talking about, we've had $17 million in free cap space that we did not use. So what you're saying is you were hoping or you're wishing that we actually used that money this season and maybe added some more talent somewhere. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yes, in a productive manner, either by getting assets back or maybe getting a player. I know we can get Drummond or whatever. I'm not even sure I want him, but somebody give me something.
He's a spending money. So is your question is what do we feel the same way this season, or what do we do next season?
Well, okay, both. One, how do you feel about how we approach that money, or of not using the money? That's one. Two, is the cap raising next year, or it's still too early, or how? I was wondering about that.
Is the cap? I'm not sure.
So
Go ahead,
I'm not.
Alex.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the cap is raising. If it does, it would go right now. It was stagnant. It stayed at 109 million for the season, like it was the previous season. If it does go up, it'd be to 112. But we haven't had any. There's been no word on what's happening with the cap. I think that'll happen. That determination will happen this offseason once we get close to free agency after the finals is over and so forth. We'll get more of a clear vision on that.
I would assume it would go up a little bit, only because of the COVID. Teams will have more people coming to the games, and so there should be more revenue coming in. So I would assume that we would have more cap space, but that's just a guess, though. It's not like a definite.
Yeah, I was just curious, man. So how do you guys feel about us using the money or not using the money?
Okay.
Were we wise to not do it? I just want to just talk a little bit and see get different opinions. That's all.
Okay. Well, for me, I'm trusting Brock Aller and these guys because he's supposedly the cap genius, the capologist over here, and he's done wonders for the Cavs, and he's all about strategy. So for me, I'm a rock with him. But the thing with I feel like the cap was kind of open just in case we had to make a move, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't end up happening. We went after Lonzo Ball, but I think they were hoping. I think the Knicks were hoping that somebody would wrestle free in the offseason. And if that happened, it would be easier to make the trade if we had the cap space available. Now, it didn't happen, but you know what? We'll still set up nice for next season. The other thing that happened was, maybe we could have brought on an asset like an expiring contract and attached the a first rounder or a second rounder with it. I thought that might have happened if we didn't gain a player. So I'm kind of surprised that didn't happen either. I thought it was gonna be one or the other. You know what I mean? I thought we was either gonna add a player or get an asset back with like a an expiring or something. But
the reason why I was shocked is because in the draft we were wheeling and we were pulling strings. We were like, we were on the phone. We were putting in work at around draft time, making all these moves. So I was just a little shocked that we didn't pull something off. But I do love the flexibility.
Right.
Do love the flexibility. It's just.
My guess is this is my random hypothesis is we did have I feel like in the news I think the Lakers was looking for somebody to take on some cap or something, right, Alex, if you remember correctly?
I can't remember if the Lakers were looking for anybody. But go on, JLS.
I don't know. My theory what happened is Knicks had both options on the table, but they were there's a deadline. I think they were working more on the Lonzo deal or at least just keeping them busy and less on getting an extra asset here. And by the time they found out, okay, well maybe this isn't going to work out, that opportunity to get an extra asset was gone, and that's why the cap is the way it is right now. That's my hypothesis anyway.
I think for the cap, I'm not upset that they didn't use it. I think it's better just to have that much money. I mean, at the end of the day, the guys who are on the roster get a little bit more of a pay bump. So it's not to them fine. I think the Knicks in general just want flexibility. So if you're thinking about Andre Drummond, as we saw from in Begley when he reported, there's very few people who are in on Andre Drummond and they were curious about the fit on the team. And when you do that, you're starting to create a center controversy on who do you want to keep between either him or Mitch, or where you want to do with Mitch moving forward, or if you want Nerlens Noel, who's been really good for us. So I didn't see that coming around. But with regards to like the cap, it's fine that we did it. Guys would just get paid a little more, and we did get assets in return during the trade deadline. I mean, we got two second round. We got three second rounders.
Yeah, we got second rounders. You're right. We did get second rounders. So that's
it's gonna be crazy, man. You think we got 4 draft picks this coming now. I with a 9-man rotation, I just don't see it. I don't see it.
It is not happening.
No,
Yeah.
and that's why I've always said when people talk about not trading draft picks, that's why I feel like this disgruntled star to me is still the best route right now, because not all these draft picks are going to play between the second rounders and the first rounders, and the way Tips likes to play these guys, not everybody's going to get burned. So I do feel like at some point where you should actually package a couple of these picks for a disgruntled star somewhere, whether it be Bill, whether it be Zach LaVine, whose Bulls team isn't going anywhere, maybe keep an eye on that, or whoever, you know. I still feel like that might be a play for us.
Yeah, or even just doing a major trade up in the draft. Maybe we can package all 4 of those draft picks to go get someone in the top 5. Who knows? Or even the top 10. Who knows? You don't know what's going to happen with these 4 draft picks. I mean, we'll see where
And we
the
still
thing
got-
is like.
Oh, and we still have more draft picks on. It's not just these 4 just for this year, but we got ammo. I think we got ammo. I think.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely. We got ammo. We can do. You know, the thing is, you want this draft capital. There's no way Tibbs is drafting these many rookies. He would probably rip whatever is left of his hair out if he saw that many rookies.
Yeah,
on the team.
absolutely.
But when you have 4 draft picks in this year, I'm not expecting all 4 draft picks. You even
Heck
saw
no.
last season we had 3 draft picks and it became 2 guys. I'm expecting 1 guy out of this draft pick and figuring out what they're going to do with it. You know, and depending where everyone lands between ours, which as right now we're going into the playoffs, so it's going to be in the late, probably like late teens, 20s, somewhere around there. And then if Dallas, you know, that's where I really hope they don't make the playoffs, because if they get into the lottery and we get a good top pick with them, that is really good. That is really good ammo to move up.
That's great ammo, but
That's a
it's gonna go down to
I
the
wake
ammo. It's gonna go down to the wire with those guys, man.
Yep.
I wake up in the morning, check the Mavs score.
Don't we all?
Facts, man. Oh man.
Like, let's go to Telethon.
I agree.
All right, gentlemen. Always a pleasure.
All right, man. Yo, thanks for calling in, man.
Have a good one, sir.
All right, yo, salute to you. All right. I saw somebody ask about Scary Terry, man.
He's playing well. I would that he's on. I don't know where to. I'd have to have like a full free agent ranking list to figure out where I'd want him. But I think there's other options right now with regards to guards that you could potentially go for. Alonzo's at the top of my list that I'd rather see the Knicks go for.
Mm-hmm.
Terry, if he keeps playing like this, the thing is he was off last season. Now he's coming on. If this is who he is this season, I would take a peek at Scary Terry.
I would definitely take a peek at Scary Terry. I feel like I actually wanted him after he left the Celtics, to be honest with you. I felt like he had a down year because of whatever situation was happening there, and I feel like it was gonna pick up, and then he stuck out the place a little bit, and then I regretted saying it, and now he's back on. So now he's back on, but I would be down for Scary Terry for sure. I think he would be a good asset for the team, and it's minimal upgrade at the point guard spot will do wonders for us. It's wonders.
Yeah, absolutely. And the whole Boston thing. I mean, they just had too many players to play with to use up there, so that's why he wanted out. That whole team was a mess that season. But I'd definitely take a look at Scary Terry. I think he's more of a shooter than a passer first. That's me. I haven't watched enough of Charlotte, in all honesty, to give like a really good read. I've watched more Pelicans. I've watched Lonzo more. I've done more watching Alonzo and seeing how he plays. And I think his fit on this team. If you want to get Obi activated, go bring Lonzo, and a guy who's just looking to find someone in transition. You'll see Obi flourish in the open court if you have Lonzo up here.
I feel you. I can see Graham shaking loose before Terry, to be honest with you. But that's another thing. But my ideal summer is go after Lonzo, long term go with the team. If that doesn't happen, I'm going after Chris Paul. But Chris Paul has to opt out. So it's like so it's like, to me, it's like Lonzo, Chris Paul, Lowry, and then whatever.
For sure.
That's my. All right, we got Fritz is the next caller. He says he wants to get in on an action.
All right, Fritz.
So let me drag Fritz in here. All right. All right, Fritz, what's going on? Fritz, you are now live on the air.
Hey, how's it going?
What's going on, man?
Hey,
going on,
what's up,
Fritz?
Alex? Hey, I know we were just talking about Alonzo, but I just started getting doubts about Alonzo. With that Zion episode last time he was in the Garden, that question he was expecting, he said, "I love playing at the Garden," and I took it as I want Lonzo back. Yeah, I took it as, make sure I'm happy. Because Lonzo is like the only guy on that Pelicans team that Zion really meshes with.
Yeah.
And they might pay that bill. They might max him out. That just to make Zion happy.
So man, I doubt that.
I'd be impressed
surprised.
because I'd be impressed with that.
I would be surprised too, but if it's for Zion, just like how Milwaukee did some silly deals to make someone happy too. I'd be I think there's going to be some competition there. I think there might be some.
The difference is, Fritz, though? The difference is the timing of it, right? Because Zion, he's locked into that contract for years, no matter what. When it comes to Antetokounmpo, he could have left. The pressure was on for the Bucks to make a move right then and there because he's about to be a free agent. So there was a whole lot more pressure for them to keep him. For the Pelicans, they can move Lonzo, move in another piece, and then prove the proof of concept that they can make him happy. So I don't see them paying Lonzo a max or anything just because they have more time to buy. You know what I mean?
And my thing with the Pelicans is that they're already paying Eric Bledsoe and Steven. Like, they extended Steven Adams. I don't even know why they did that. So their books exactly, bro. That's right.
Yeah.
Their books is just a wreck right now. So I don't see how they can pay Lonzo more than 14. I think if they go, the Knicks can offer Lonzo 20. That's the max that I would say the Knicks should be willing to offer Lonzo.
Yeah.
But there's no way New Orleans is going to put up 20 unless they figure out a trade, somehow to trade Bledsoe and Steven Adams.
Bledsoe has to go.
Bledsoe has to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and they already have Kyra Lewis down there too. So what's the plan with Kyra? What's the plan with Bledsoe? What's the plan with Lonzo? There's just a lot of moving pieces down there, and I'd expect them to go with Kyra because Kyra's been starting to play pretty well. I could see them moving on from Lonzo. I don't see, if David Griffin really wanted him, this was the time to really just like lock him up before he hit anything and to start getting to a bidding war. I think Griffin's ready. I think he's on that spot to like. He's not sure if he wants to move on from him. He's willing to see what the market's like.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's fully like bought in on Lonzo Ball either.
Yeah. Yeah. The one player I would look out for would be, and it's not even a name that everybody would like, but Ricky Rubio in his last year, in his expiring last year contract. So that's the one player. If the Knicks had for 1 year, they can get him from Minnesota.
A passing Elfrid Payton.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty much just like Elfrid Payton that passes.
Yeah. And it's not even a name that's spectacular, but I think it's something that you don't have to give up your assets for. You don't have to.
Knicks
you don't
fans
have
would
to run
riot
that.
if we just ended up with Rubio after all this.
Yeah.
Just end up with Rubio.
Yeah.
I mean, I like
It would be a
Rubio,
disappointment.
but
I do like
It would
Rubio.
be a disappointment.
it's man.
It's a very incremental upgrade. Very incremental.
Yo, seriously, like honestly, we're just turning back the clocks if we have Ricky Rubio and Derrick Rose as our point guards on the team.
Yeah, the two guys supposed to be traded for each other back in 2015,
It's
2016.
2000s.
Remember that? Remember that rumor was supposed to be Ricky Rubio for Derrick Rose from the. Remember that? And now that's just me.
Man.
That's just me because I was doing podcasts back then with when Phil Jackson was there. So I was talking about this like 4 or 5 years ago. Okay, just me.
I would have loved Rubio over Jose Calderon. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And as I knew, the chat is saying Rubio can't shoot. Exactly.
That's the thing. Rubio outside of 15. Rubio further than 15 feet is just. Yikes.
Yeah. But I think it's going to be an interesting summer. These 4 picks, I'm already going through my scenarios. I only think the Knicks are only going to pick one player and maybe go for future picks.
I agree.
Or even go for like a valuable player they can push in the future, like get a bowl, or go get someone they can package for a superstar, someone who can end up in that package. So it should be an interesting summer.
Yeah.
But yeah. But thanks for putting me on. Shout out to the chat.
All right.
Hey, thanks.
All right, man. Yo, thanks for. Thanks.
We'll see what happens this offseason. It's gonna be an interesting offseason. I'm prepared for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm expecting some draft night trades, to be honest with you. Like, oh my gosh, do you see what? I'm expecting that type of energy. Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm expecting that type of energy for real. Salute to the chat, man. Definitely salute. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Ricky V Residential. He says D Nice is a Rose is a 32. Rose is 32. Chris Paul is 36 on 37. That's a false narrative. Not being able to play 30 minutes a game. So I guess people are worried about Rose being a starter next year and playing 30 minutes a game. I still don't believe he'll be a starter next year.
You had Dwayne Casey talking about, he capped him out between 25 to 27 minutes because that's what Dwayne Casey's like, that is what our team's allowing us.
Right.
Like, and you just see it. Like, we see it in the play,
I agree.
Ooh, Iller came in with a good one. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. I would do, please.
I would too, but why would that happen? I don't understand this. Like,
I mean, you have to. What's enticing out in OKC for Shea right now? Hey, we're tanking this season. We're gonna try to draft high, and what? They're not going to be contending next season unless they do a massive overhaul.
Bird rights, money. He would have to pull like like Anthony Davis type of situation, where it's like I'm just, or be like Kevin Love and like not like play and throw a tantrum on the court.
I hear that. I'm just also thinking of like the time frame for SGA as well. I mean, isn't his contract coming up? He's about to be a restricted free agent unless he got extended. I don't know it. Gotta check that out.
Yeah, I just see them throwing the bag at him because that's the only piece they have, and they're just trading everybody else to keep him. That's how I see it anyway.
Shea is a restricted free agent at the end of next season. So they can either move him to get an asset back, which looks like Presti is all in on getting more draft capital.
I'd be shocked if they moved. I'd be super shocked because I would think the move would be to build around him, to get all, because they already have a bunch of first round picks anyway. So I would think the move would be move those picks for other players to place around him.
Yeah.
Like, that's your only piece that's worth it there.
Yeah, but you also need someone there to, I don't know, you also need someone there to be doing stuff. And their roster, I mean, Poku's not really.
You're not into Pokemon? All right.
He's doing better.
You know what?
He had a very slow start.
I will say this. I will say they do grant people a way out if they ask for it. That is true. I will give you that. I will give you that. But I think they'll try to throw the bag at them. Usually for young kids, they like the bag first. You know what I'm saying? When you're young, you're just trying to prove yourself. You're just trying to get your game better, and then you want the bag. And then I feel like after a while, when you realize the bag ain't working, then you try to exit your way out. That's usually the pattern that I notice.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised.
I really wouldn't be surprised, honestly. I think the Knicks, if the Knicks really wanted to make that move, they could trade draft capital to go get him. I mean, I honestly don't see what I need to see what the Thunder do this offseason. But you got Dort, you got SGA, Poku.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who else you got.
We have another call. Oh wait. We have another caller. So as far as free agents go, you said?
No, not as free agents, but like on that team that that Shea's interested in staying there.
Oh, it's him and Poku. It's really him and Poku there. Everybody else is and Dork, and everybody else is and Dork. Everybody else is a veteran who they're planning to move sooner or later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that'll be that. But hey, look, if we get Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, I'll be super excited for that. I would not be sad about that at all. Other names I'm hearing right now, people wanting to chat: Gary Trent Jr. and Norman Powell. I'm all for Gary Trent. And not Norman. I just do Norman Powell. I just do him in. I'm definitely in for Gary Trent Jr. for sure. I think he's a phenomenal player. I would love him. But also, the Pacers, man. There was this one rumor that the Pacers put out that they were looking for trade offers for Brogdon. Man,
I would take Brogdon too.
Man, I'll give him a couple picks for Brogdon in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
Brogdon next to RJ with
Randall.
What?
It'd be really nice.
Brogdon, RJ, Rand. What? I'm with it. I'm not sure how likely that still is, but I can imagine, man. Ball Brogdon, RJ, Randall, Mitch. Holy crap! No one's getting past half court. Nobody's getting past half court.
I would love it.
Number one defense in the league.
That'd be phenomenal.
Phenomenal. Okay, here we go. Another caller in the queue. All right, caller. I have you in the KOT live chat. Waiting to hear from you.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Yeah, actually, I was calling. First of all, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Chad, and both of you guys. You guys are doing a great job tonight. Just wanted to see what you guys thought about Grant over in Detroit. Like, he seems like, I think he's a great player, and he definitely will fit our system. What do you guys think about? I know obviously point guard is like our primary. That's what we really need, and that's the most important thing. But I think he's like one really good, talented player that like I think we can actually easily snatch from Detroit. We actually have even the cap space to just absorb this contract without even having to trade any players. So what do you guys think about that?
Jeremy Grant. I like Jeremy Grant. Isn't he playing more so power forward though? So he kind of overlap with with Julius Randle. I mean, he's what is it? I think he's 6'8". He can go back and forth between power forward and small forward, but he's more so a power forward. I mean, when he was out in Denver, they used him. Who was it? It was him, Jokic, Murray. Who else did they have out there? I think they also had Barton for a stretch and Michael Porter Jr. I think he was playing the four. Like he was playing like a long 3 and 4. He's very versatile. I like him. I don't know if he's necessarily a good wing because that's where you probably have to slide into. and then you're putting RJ at the shooting guard.
Yeah.
I like Jeremy. I don't know if he necessarily. I'm not fully sold on him playing small forward.
Yeah,
I like him though.
I don't think he wants to be here in that role. Like, he left to go to Detroit to be the man. So for him to come here to be like option 2 or 3 behind Randall and RJ and whoever, I think it'll just cause more conflict than anything.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a very good point. You know, maybe a year of being in Detroit maybe woke him up, and maybe he realized, like, being a man is not all that it's cracked up to be. But, you know, I don't know. That's just what I thought. In terms of being able to, I've seen him play quite a bit, and not a ton, but I've seen him play enough, and I don't know. It seems like he's obviously in today's NBA, you don't have a lot of big power forwards much anymore that bang people around. It's not like the 90s and the 80s anymore, but he seems like he's actually, for me, he looks like a really good wing. Like he's lengthy, he's got the foot speed.
I agree with you.
To defend threes. It's just, I think in today's NBA, he seems like he fits naturally at the 4, but he's really a 3. At least in my opinion, he plays like a 3. But, you know, it's definitely a very good point. He did leave to go be the man, so you know, we'll see, you know, like, so it may not be a great idea. But I just thought he was, like, you know, someone that was very interesting. That would definitely, you know, really help the team a lot.
Now, like, Knicks fans were all in on Jeremy Grant in the offseason, so that's not like it's not a crazy thought to think that, because I think a lot of people thought the same thought the same thing in the summer. They were trying to get Jeremy Grant over here. But he just chose. I mean, you know what? The only thing I can say is maybe he just wanted more of an opportunity to play. So maybe it won't be next year, but maybe in a couple of years, he'll be like, all right, cool. I proved that I can play a bigger role. You know, now maybe when I go to another team, they'll let me dribble, you know?
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, and the chat's pointed out, like, he did play next to Millsap. So he was playing some small forward last season, even though he was designated as a power forward.
Shout out to the chat.
Yep, shout out to the chat for helping me out on that. It'd be interesting. I think he's more sought as a power forward. I would like to see him more so there, like, to stretch the floor. He could play small forward. I don't know. Position wise, I think the mesh between him and Julius would be interesting.
Right.
But he is very versatile. I do like him though. I do like him.
I like his game too. And he's proven a lot this season too.
The other person, like, I wanted to ask you guys about is, like, he comes up all the time, Devontae Graham, and it seems like you know, like, people are he's pretty intriguing, but for me, it's like, I don't know if I'm wrong, but I think I remember looking at his stats before. He's like, his shooting numbers are terrible, his efficiency numbers, and so I'm just like, at least I don't know if it improved this year, but I just remember looking at it like at some point last year. And it was just really bad. And the funny thing was, like, when I saw him play, he killed us and played great. But every time we played against him, he's looked great. But then, I don't know, I just kind of looked up his stats, and I'm like, I think he was shooting like low 30s from 3. His field goal percentage, I think maybe was like high 30s or low 40s. And so I'm just kind of curious, what do you guys think about that? Is that really going to be, you know, I don't know if is that something you guys really want, especially given, like, how, you know, how much he struggles. It seems like he struggles shooting the ball efficiently.
Well, I don't like short guards. I don't like to have like a bevy of short guards on the team, personally. But actually, I thought he played better last year. Last year. Okay, I'm looking at his numbers from last year. 38% from the field is not good.
Yeah.
Not good at all.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. I was shocked because every time he played against us, he was killing us. And, well, I shouldn't say every time, but I do remember that one game where he hit the game winner. And, you know, and I was like, this sucks. And then you look up his stats, and he's shooting 38% from the field. But I'm like, how did this happen?
You know what it is, though? Like, okay, let me share this with the chat. He last year, he was shooting 9 threes a game, which is an insanely high number. That's a really high number. 9 threes a game, and shooting So that's going to dip your percentages. And shooting decently from three, 37% from three.
Oh, okay.
Which is okay.
Oh, okay. So most of his shots was 3-pointers. That's why his field goal percentage is so low.
Right.
So the thing is really interesting. I really get the whole 3-point shoot. Why he's on like shooting where your full field goal percentage is. Like I guess they say like if you're, if you shoot 33% from 3-point range, that's equivalent to like shooting something like 47 or 48% from the field.
Right.
And so that's why people encourage 3-point shooting.
Right.
But it's just like that whole thing is like it's kind of when you look at the data, because when you kind of like basically plot everything out over even like if you look at a time series of like let's say 3-point shooting and they're like their net like the net off the net like rating, it's like you don't really see much of like it's almost like it doesn't seem like 3-point shooting really has an impact on winning, your ability to win a ball. So it's such a weird stat. It seems like it definitely makes sense, but I think the issue is like teams don't really know how to use a 3-point shot very well, and so sometimes they just let anyone just shoot it part. And it's and then you couple that with like how people shoot 3-pointers. Sometimes like people are like they'll go through stretches where they're extremely hot, and then you have stretches where they're really cold, and so it's just like it's
No, I know what you mean.
So it's kind of like it's a very interesting stats.
Yeah, it's like the Houston, like people chuck up no threes but don't get the right threes. Like people want to go to the Houston Rocket route, right? And the Houston Rockets did it best, right? Where they were one of the highest scoring teams in the league, just strictly off of shooting threes. But they brought the personnel there who can play that style and do that correctly. And then everybody else tried to copy it and weren't as effective, which is why you're getting the skewed numbers. You know what I mean? So it works if you have the personnel to make it work.
The best, obviously, the only team that really can make it work is Golden State because they're like Steph and Clay was shooting like over 40%.
Right.
So if you got those guys, like it works all day. But with Houston, the thing that was really interesting, even if you look at them, right, it's like even in those situations, it's like because people are streaky, right? They'll have like hot streaks and they'll have cold streaks. So that's why like it's very difficult for them to even get over the hump. So if you look at the stats of like the 3-point shooters in Houston, they're all shooting like all their 3-point shooter. Most of them are like 35%, 34-35%, and then you had like a couple of guys that were maybe 39%.
Mm-hmm.
Shooter like James Harden, he was one of their big volume shooters.
I know what you mean.
He was like only 35%.
Yeah.
And so it works. So you have to ask yourself, right? So if you look at the average is 35%, like, how hot can you get and how long can you be hot, right? Can you be hot like 4 games in a row? Or actually, can you be hot four out of 7 games? So you got to ask yourself that question. Is that something you can do? Or, and so it's just kind of like, I think, so it's always really interesting. Even Houston, like I think that's kind of why they were never able to really get over the hump. I think they like overused it. I think there were teams that used it a lot better than they did, in my opinion. For them, they just kept chucking it,
Yeah, you know what it is with them? They just couldn't pass. They just couldn't get past Golden State. Really, that's what the problem was, which is interesting. I don't know if you ever watched the This is going all the way off Knicks talk now. This is straight up basketball talk. But which podcast? The freaking. Oh my gosh! Wow, JJ Redick's podcast. It was talking about why they played so much ISO. They played so much ISO just so they can beat Golden State. They just practice ISO all year just to beat Golden State, which is interesting to see. But we're way off Knicks talking now. But 3-point. But thanks for the call though.
All right. Have a good one.
Have a good one.
Have a good one to you. Salute to the chat, man. Super skin to the super stats talk with 3 points and averages and how many shots are appropriate to take per game. Only filled with 35% shooters. Is it still a good shot if you only have 35 and 36%?
Darn you, Daryl Morey.
Darn you, Daryl Morey. changing the game, man. But salute to the chat, everybody who's rocking. Shout out to Fritz, shout out to D-Night, shout out to Jarvis, shout out to Cody and everybody else who's rocking with the KOT show. All right. I think it might be a good time to kind of wrap it up. Do my little Manscaped spiel, pay some bills, you know, and close out the show. But salute to the chat. What? Last game of the season, not last game. Next game we have is against the Bulls. The Bulls game is coming up tomorrow. Must win. No Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine hasn't played in a long time. And shout out to my guy Cody, man, who's a really good, got a good follow, and he puts up he does really good work on YouTube, kind of looking at some of the prospects, the NBA the draft prospects for the year. But he's also a huge Bulls fan. He's also he's also a huge Bulls fan. So I don't know. Maybe I should have him on. Maybe I have him
Talk
on.
Bulls.
Talk some Knicks Bulls game. Talk some trash for a little bit. You know?
Reminisce about the 90s.
Yeah, reminisce about that 90s when Jordan used to dunk on us. Those days are over. Whatever. Maybe I have him over. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I think we're gonna win this game though. This game should be a wrap. It should be easy. I hope.
We should go in there and win. If they don't have Zach LaVine, they're gonna rely on Vooch. I mean, it's gonna be Vooch. Thad Young have been the two guys that have been playing the most. Kobe White, was it Kobe White? Kobe White, sorry.
Yeah, Kobe White. Yeah, Kobe White.
Yeah.
You got it.
Whew. There's a lot of names to remember, man. A lot of names to remember.
Absolutely, man.
So, yeah, Kobe White, Vooch, Thad Young, and you got who's the one that they drafted? The Bulls shocked this season, drafted for Patrick Williams. So you got those.
Yeah, bad Patrick Williams. Yeah, Patrick Williams is doing it. Yeah.
So you got those are the four guys that we have to go through tomorrow. The Knicks should be able to do it. It should be a win.
It should be a win, man. And like I said before, man, we need to get. You got 10 games coming up. I want 5 of these. I want 5 of these, right?
That'd be good. That'd be good.
Let me get the exact schedule. Let me get the exact schedule for a second. Next 10 games. Rockets. You got Bulls. Hold on. You got the Bulls. You got the Bulls, Rockets, Grizzlies. We need to go on a 3-game winning streak. That has to happen. Then we have the Nuggets, Suns, Clips, Lakers, Spurs. 6 games of doom right there. We got
yeah.
We played the Clippers to a close game. RJ had a really good game against Kawhi. Hopefully he has some resurgence. The Suns game, I'm hoping we can pull. I'm hoping if there's a game maybe we can pull out. I'm looking at the Suns and hoping. Listen, man. Julius Randle and RJ Barrett play half of what they usually play. Maybe we win a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna need both of them. We're gonna need both of them to get them to win this game. Exactly. We can't have another 32 point between both of them like we had against the Suns. We're gonna need them.
Exactly, and maybe at that point we should have Alex Burks back as well, because I think that would be 14 days would be passed by then. I would think.
Well, he also has to be ready. He has to be ready and conditioned too to come back.
Yeah,
and I haven't heard anything about him practicing yet or getting into conditioning. He has to get through that whole conditioning phase too, like Derrick Rose did, to make sure he's ready to go. So it could be a little bit longer. It could be a little bit longer without Burks.
That's a good point. That's absolutely a good point, man. Dang. I don't want him to. Yeah, we need him back. We need him back to tip-top shape for playoffs, man. We need one of our closers back, man. We want our closers back for playoffs, man. We need to get this win. We need to get it going, because I just need all our guns locked and loaded, for real. For real.
That's a fact.
All right. So shout out to everybody watching, man. Let me just pay some bills real quick. All right. So shout out to Manscaped, which is our official sponsor. All right. Flowers are blooming, the grass is growing. It's time to chop the weeds. Thanks to our sponsor at Manscaped. You can trim your holes safely and efficiently. I'm talking about the ball trimmers, these guys right here. Manscaped, the global leaders in below the waist grooming, have an exclusive offer for our audience. Use code KOT to get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. Join the other 2 million men who trust in Manscaped. They are here to make sure you are trimmed and smelling nice. After all, it's time for some spring cleaning, all right? So salute to Manscaped, the official sponsor for the KOT show. And also, you always remember to get the Trimmer 3.0. It doesn't nick your hairs. You know, it has an LED light so you can see what's going on in the dark. And it's also waterproof. And your girl will thank you, all right? So make sure you get that Manscaped. Also get the Bold deodorant, too. Bold deodorant, best kept secret. Always get that, all right? And you always got, like I always say, you got to make sure you don't want down there looking like Fizdale's hair, all right? Oh, my God.
Shots fired.
Shots fired. There you go. There it is. There it is. I know I hit the gunshots all day. People was like, what happened to the gunshots? There it is. Shots fired. All right, salute to Manscaped. And shout out to everybody who rocked the show today, all right? And one more shout out to D9, shout out to Iller. Smooth as eggs, says Iller. If y'all watch Dave Chappelle, you know why that's funny. Smooth as eggs. Yo, Dave Chappelle is my favorite comedian ever.
Facts.
Facts. Shout out to everybody rocking in the chat. Shout out to Cody. Shout out to Kyle Totcherman. Shout out to Blood. Okay, Blood Off Panther. Shout out to you. Shout out to all the newcomers too, man, who watching the KOT show. All right, that is our show. I tried to hold out for Boogie, but I don't think he's coming. I think he might be stuck in traffic. Shout out to Jay Boogie though, who sent a $10 Cash App. It helps helps grow the channel. All the donations help to grow the channel. So it helps keep the lights on, helps pay the writers, keeps things going. So shout out to people who donate super chats, Cash Apps, and all things of that nature. All right, cool. Yeah, so that's our show. Alex, let them know where they find you, dog.
JL, this was good talking about Knicks. You know, sadly it was a loss, but hey, we'll take this moral victory. We'll go on to the next one. We got the Chicago Bulls tomorrow. Let's get that W, get right back on track.
Facts.
Salute to Knicks Nation. Salute to all the mods. And you guys can find me over at Hoops Habit, part of the Fansided Network. You can also find me at KnicksFanTV.com. You can find the podcast, Knicks, Jets, etc. on all streaming platforms. We just had an awesome guest. We had Arsonist from the Heat Makers. If you know who the Heat Makers are, if you know who Arsonist is, he was the producer, instrumental to the Diplomatic Anthem. The whole album, man. Well, most of the album. And he also did El Capo with Jim Jones recently. He's worked with Beyonce and so forth. Then we had him on. Great time. Make sure to go check that out. And if you're into sports betting, you can find me over at Tally Side as well. And that's it.
All right. Salute to you. Great show as always. And you can find us at the KOT Show on Twitter. The
Dipset Anthem. Sorry, I'm going nuts. Dipset. It's been a long day. Dipset Anthem. Diplomatic Immunity is the album. Just want to clarify that.
I thought you said Dipset Anthem. Am I bugging? Anyway, that's all good. All right. As always, you know where to find me. You can find us at the KOT Show on Twitter, the Nick of Time Show on Instagram. Also, find our blogs and merch at thenicoftimeshow.com. All right. Shout out to Fritz, shout out to Ken, shout out to Rob, shout out to Mikey, all the writers over there at the Nick of Time Show. New blog is up. The new blog is up. It's talking about Coach of the Year, man. Tips, coach, chances for Coach of the Year. So definitely check out that article written by Rob. All right. And yeah, that is our show. I'm going to drink a huge glass of water because I'm so thirsty. Shout out to my dentist.
Oh man.
All right, that is our show. We are out of here. Peace.
Shout out the World Wide West.